To me, one of the most important pre-marriage questions that a couple needs to decide is how they feel about having children in the marriage. And if you know up front that you don't want kids, it's really important for you to be honest and open about that and reconsider getting married. Because once you get married, hoping or wishing that when you're married, your partner's going to change their mind if they didn't want a kid is a terrible place to put them and possibly any child that would accidentally or otherwise come into this marriage. Children are innocent souls and they depend on two people that have them to raise them. And when one parent says from the beginning, I don't want kids, there is a reason for that. And if they really want one and they choose to go to therapy to figure out what the reasons are and how they can alleviate those, that's one thing. But many times they don't, and they end up initiating a divorce. And then not only that, they don't really want the child, so they don't interact with the child. And so the child ends up with one less parent, no marriage, and basically feeling the cause of a divorce. So I want to read to you a question that I got this week, and I want you to try and understand why this is so dangerous when you don't talk about this before your marriage. Okay? My husband and I have a daughter, 4 years old, and are in the process of a divorce. I would never ever want her to think the divorce is her fault, but her existence is the reason for it. Shortly after her birth, it has been an accidental pregnancy. My husband decided he hated parenting. Eventually, I could no longer stomach living with someone who was miserable all the time and hated being around his family. So, what I do now is I tell myself that there's all kinds of families, and this is the kind we have. But when she's older, she'll want to know why. I don't know what to tell her when the reasons are exactly what she might fear. A vague, your dad and I just didn't live well together. Or it was your fault. No, you never tell a child it was their fault that you got a divorce after they were born, because it wasn't their fault. It was the two parents' fault. It was an immature parent who couldn't handle having children, or for whatever reason, his or her own chaotic childhood, they weren't equipped to bring a child into the world, and another parent who wasn't brave enough to walk away before the marriage when they knew that their partner did not want kids. Trying to force someone into a marriage or having, being a good parent when it's not part of who they are or what they want is a terrible thing to do. And what I would say in this case, if the couple were emotionally mature, both of them, they would have gone to parenting classes, they would have gone to marriage counseling, they would have gotten their act together for this child that they brought into the world, who is innocent and didn't ask to be here. If this mother raises the child and the dad doesn't want anything to do with her, imagine what a loss this is for this child. And imagine even worse how terrible it is that the child believes it was their fault that the family divorced, which it wasn't. It was entirely the two parents' fault. What I suggest in this case is that this mother tells her daughter the truth when the child gets old enough and asks. I was not able to, I would tell her, your dad and I did not equip ourselves to really parent you well together. And that was on us. That was not on you. And we did not fight hard enough for our marriage because we thought it would be easy and we thought it would just be something we could do and live happily ever after. And we were wrong. And we want to help you never repeat that. So one thing that we're going to do for you is do our best job at loving you, at supporting you, and then when you need more help, We're going to make sure we find good mentors to help you with the questions you have. I think when parents are honest in that way, they assume the responsibility for what went wrong in their marriage with their children. It frees that child up. It makes the child respect them more in the long run. And it's the most honest thing. You're teaching your children that you are fallible, that you made mistakes, that you don't have all the answers. Don't continue living a lie that it was the child's fault that you got a divorce. The real reason for the divorce is you were both selfish in living your own life the way you wanted to. And when she was born, you just decided the marriage was not worth the effort. So it must have not been as good of a marriage from the beginning. The two of you were not putting in the effort you needed to do to make this marriage work. And that's my best advice, because when you're putting effort into your marriage, you're creating something you both want. You both love it. You're both invested. So nothing, certainly not a child's birth, would be able to catastrophize it or make it something the two of you could not live in peacefully together. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.